hips. All right, ladies, today we're going to do hips and twists. So you'll know what you need, what you can do, what you need to do. So we're going to start first seated. Now, I like to take a block. My feet are just wider than my hips. And I'm going to put a block behind my bum and sit. Oh, yeah. And your quads might say, I'm not so sure about this. Your knees might say, that's too much. And if that's the case, you take 2 blocks and you sit a little bit higher. Yeah. And you sit up tall. You decide what you need. So we've been talking about how to take the spikes out of the cactus, how to live life without so much drama and stress. Because really, the yoga is in finding the grace in life and finding your best life. That's really what the yoga is. So my girlfriend, through years of experience, gave me her list that she created. And last week we talked about staying inside our hula hoop, right? If it's outside that space around our hula hoop, it's none of our business. We don't have to get involved. One of the other pieces of advice she says is have a seat, go watch from the cheap seats. In other words, imagine life is just on a stage and you take a seat up in the upper balcony in the back and you're just watching. You're stepping away. Imagine what that would look like. You can look and see how your behavior is, how their behavior is, and maybe see how maybe you can make it a little bit better by just taking a seat in the cheap seats. So sit up nice and tall, draw your shoulder blades, just kind of melt the blades down your back. Your heart is open and expanded. Close your eyes. And start to breathe. Start that big, deep breath. You can take an exhale through your mouth to begin with, just a cleansing breath. And as you deepen your breath, imagine you see yourself on a stage. So Shakespearean, isn't it? Put your back in the high seats, looking down. And maybe you could remember that you're seeing things from the way you see them, from where you came from, as whoever we're interacting with sees it the way they've experienced life, where they come from. And you deepen your breath so much that you can feel the sides of your body lengthen. Your upper back expand from the ribs. You find a rhythm to your breath. So you feel your hips release, become heavy to the earth, and your nervous system calm with this intention to step back, and then slowly open your eyes. Take your arms in front of you, interlace your fingers and reach your palms forward as you extend them all the way up. Keep your sit bones grounded to the earth, outer elbows back. Imagine you're pulling your hands apart, the shoulder blades are starting to hug together, even though this is a hips and twist class. We always have to have our back aligned, and then release so that your elbows reach behind you. And then continue just like this. Take a big inhale, big and full, feeling the sit bones grounded, your heart lifted, and then exhale your elbows behind you until you find a rhythm to your breath, and I let somebody in. I want to hear the inhales and the exhales. Good. Let's take one more just like that. Inhale up. You just take your time and exhale back. Oh, yeah. Take your hands behind your back, interlacing your fingers, lift your heart, big full breath. And release. Then extend your left arm up and your right arm to the floor, maybe even pressing the right fingerprints down and bending the right elbow. And then inhale back to center all the way up. And then exhale the other way, keeping your sit bones grounded in your seat, whatever you're sitting on. And moving with the breath again. Find that edge. I don't want it to be mindless. I want it to be really present. Good. So that every breath is registered and working for you. Yeah. Let's take one more on each side. Oh, yeah. And last one. And all the way up to center. With your shoulder blades down your back and your spine long, I want you to twist to your right, taking your left ribs to the right, and maybe taking your left hand outside your right thigh and pressing the thigh bone back and get a deep twist here. And then come back to center. That's the inhale. Exhale, twist from the left waist to the right and back to center. Let's take one more, using the resistance of your hand to draw back and looking over your right shoulder and come back to center. And I want you to notice how your body wants to go to the right. That's the muscles we're waking up. So let's change sides. So shoulder blades down your back, twist from the right waist over to your left. Oh yeah, but make it nice and deep and back to center. You take your own resistance, your hand outside the thigh bone, pressing it back. Oh, yeah. And inhale back to center. And last one. Exhale all the way over. And back to center. And now make your way to table pose, hands and knees. Make sure your hands are where they should be, under your shoulders, and come right into cat and cow. Now you guys know how to do the scapula move. Just kind of flossing the scapula just by rounding your upper back, taking the scapula away from the spine and then together back. And then into cats and cows. Oh yeah. Yeah, it kind of starts getting things moving. All right, so we're getting into our hips. So take some hip circles here. Good. Big hip circles, one way and then the other. But start right into our hips here. Good. With your heart soft, your shoulder blades tucked together, your belly lifted, you're going to take your right knee directly out to the right, as if there's a light on your right knee that you want to reach out to the right. And then you're going to reach it back, but not back to the earth, and extend and inhale back. Moving with the breath through your nose if you can, and just opening things up. Your gaze is slightly forward, not up or down. And I'm looking sideways so I can see you. You can see me. But I want you to just keep your consciousness on those hips, right? Okay, 8, 7, 6, 5, good, 4, 3, 2, yeah. Last one, and come back to center. Take a few hip circles here. Checking in with your breath. But we're not quite done with the right hip. Coming back to table, make sure your fingerprints and the roots of your fingers, the base of your fingers is grounded so the weight's not dumped into your wrist. You're going to lift your right knee up and you're going to tap your right knee outside the left shin and look over to the left and come back to center and tap. And over, look over to the left and back to center. So I'm not really landing when I come back to the center. I'm almost landing. And reach. Good. And reach. Good. Let's take about 5 more. 5. I'm going to try to be a little bit more quiet. Count to yourself. Last one. Very good. And back to center. Now I want you to take your hands palms up so that your fingers are aiming towards you. Palms up. My thumbs are aiming toward each other. My fingers are aiming towards my knees. And you're going to make your way into a little bit of a cat. You're going to get a little stretch in your wrists. And then come back to a neutral spine. Exhale to a cat. This is to stretch your wrists. Take your hips back just a little bit more. And back to table pose. Yeah. Now we're going to do the same on the left. Ready? So you're going to take your left knee all the way out to the left. And back. And left. So there's a knee, a light on your left knee, and you want to shine it all the way out to the left. And lift. Good. And reach. Good. Gaze forward without dumping your head. And then carefully count with the breath. 8, 7. You know what to do. Keep your belly engaged. Last one coming up. Oh, yeah. Now step your right foot forward, just outside your right hand, and you're going to tip your right thigh bone out to the right. It's like you're tipping a chest of drawers all the way out, and just soften your chest into that space. So your hands are inside your foot, and you're going to soften your chest. You can soften your elbows. Everybody's hips are different. We're just starting. So I want you to take that thigh bone out to the right. Keep the right outer hip reaching back, and find your breath here. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And all the way back to center. Now extend your right leg all the way out in front of you, flexing the front right ankle. Flex it, take the right outer hip back, and then step into your right foot, take your right shin forward. Oh, and back. Reach the right outer hip back, flexing the right ankle. Exhale back into it, feeling the whole move, the whole sensation. How deep can you get into the space? Good. Exhale and inhale. 2 more times, just like that. Last one. Yeah. I want to spend more time listening to our breath. Now step into your right foot, take your left hand to the floor and open up your heart and do a twist. So your left ribs roll to the right, shoulder blades are down your back, and you lean back, open your heart completely. Big full breath here. Oh yeah. Exhale your right hand back to the floor. Lift your back, left knee up off the earth. Lift and lower your hips, and you're just going to lower your left knee towards the earth and extend. Now, you might want your hands on blocks here. If you can't get your hands flat, use the blocks. If you can, you don't need the blocks, that's fine too, it doesn't matter. Remember, the yoga is in living your best life and loving your life, as my teacher would say. Good. And extend right from that left inner thigh. 8. Yeah, count it to your mind with your breath. Good. Three more. Last one. Now you're going to shorten and widen your stance, pressing your feet down, and then start to lengthen your legs. So imagine you're taking your gaze away from the earth, further away from the earth. And maybe you can see a bigger picture. Take your right outer hip back and just get a nice stretch here. Oh yeah, good. Then step into your right foot, lift your left leg all the way up, releasing your head, and step your left foot beside your right, forward fold. Inhale, look halfway up, reach your inner thigh bones back and your heart forward. You can always take your hands to your shins or your knees. Exhale and fold forward. Press your feet down and circle your arms all the way up. Grab your left wrist and lift. Exhale to the right. Inhale back to center. Grab your right wrist and lift. Exhale to your left. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look halfway up. Exhale, step all the way to plank. So this is our first one. You know your knees should be up or down. You depends on you. Belly back, heart, soft shoulder blades toe together. Then you're going to lower your knees and roll your thigh bones to the floor. Come on to your forearms so that your forearms are parallel. Now, you can take your forearms further back because what we're going to do is lift our elbows, starting to get into our low back. Reach your heart forward and then soften back. Now, what does getting into our low back have to do with our hips? It's all connected, right? Inhale. Now you take your hands a little further back, you'll get a little bit deeper. And if you take your hands a little bit more forward, you'll get not as much, and you'll know what you need to do. We're just going to take about 4 more. You know, I knew this was a good pose because somebody said they hated it. Okay, 3. Good, 2. Last one. All the way up. Oh yeah. Then all the way back down. Now take your hands beside your upper ribs. I like to roll my knees towards the earth and then make your way into a cobra or an up dog. Oh yeah. And right into down dog. And walk your dog. And notice your breath. Good. Then lower your knees back to the earth. Back to table. Stepping your left foot forward outside your left hand and dip your left thigh bone out to the left. Softening your chest, maybe you'll soften your elbows. Now, because we've done so much, you might come a little bit closer to your forearms onto the earth. Everyone's going to do it different, right? We are here to find our own yoga. So press into it, find your breath. Oh yeah. Then make your way back up to center and extend your left leg forward, flexing your front left ankle. Reach the left outer hip back. Then step into your left foot, take your left shin forward, gaze forward, reach your heart up. And then come back. Extending your left leg, flexing, oh yeah. And exhale. Oh, you can feel those hips just defrosting. Yeah. When our hips are nice and open, we manage life a little bit better. Yep. Not just physically, but emotionally. All right, so take 1 more after this. Exhale back. Inhale, all the way back up. Come back to center, stepping into your left foot. Take your right hand to the earth and open up that twist with the right waist open. Lean back, lifting up the right waist into the left. Notice how much edgier you can get it when you're really here. Take a breath. Exhale your left hand back to the floor or onto your blocks because you're going to lift your back right knee up off the earth. Lifting and lowering your hips just to get nice and connected here. And then you're going to lower your right knee towards the earth and then extend. And lower. And extend. And exhale. And inhale. Getting right into the right inner thigh because that is what you're aiming for. Good. 8, 7. Good. Count yourself. Good. 3 more. Try to gaze slightly forward. Last one. Nice. Now walk your hands back, widen your stance, and lengthen both your legs long, drawing the belly back. And imagine, again, you're taking your vision away from what you were looking at, seeing a bigger picture. Take your left outer hip back and soften your chest right into this nice stretch. Take a breath or 2 here. Then step into your left foot. Lift your right leg all the way up. And step your right foot beside your left forward. Fold with the belly back. Press your feet down. Circle your arms all the way up. And bring your palms together to your heart center. Good. One more thing before we go into Utkatasana. Wide stance. Wardrobe malfunction. Okay. And come into goddess. Good. So we're going to start first by reaching my left arm over to the right and then right to the left. You can even look up into your arm bone and you'll see, get a little stretch in your neck. It depends on your shoulders. I know some of you have a little nudge in your shoulder, so you keep your elbow bent. It works. We're just going to do one more on each side here. Good. Now staying low, you're going to take your hands either behind your head without pressing your head forward or to the sides of your head. Shoulder blades down your back, low. And you're going to reach your right elbow towards your right thigh. Come back to center and then do the same on the left. Good. Exhale, squeeze. So we're getting low in our hips. Just when you think we're about as low as we can go, you can come onto your tiptoes of the foot you're tipping towards. You get a little bit more release in your hips. We're going to count 8 and 7. Good. Hear it in your ears. Last one. Oh, yeah. And all the way up. Walk your feet together, hip width apart. Take some nice little shoulder, some hip circles here. Okay, this is not just, this is really mindful. Your feet are grounded. You can even come onto your tiptoes and move your hips. Notice when you're drawing the energy to the center of your body by hugging your thigh bones to the midline, your feet to the midline. It takes more muscular energy, waking stuff up, because now we're going into the dance. Okay, and release. All right, now we're going to come into Utkatasana, fierce warrior. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist to your right, keeping the left hip back and opening up your heart, however you choose. Good. Inhale back to center and exhale to the other way. For me, it's my left now. Good. Inhale back into Utkatasana, fierce warrior. Hips are back, shins are forward, torso's pretty long. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look halfway up. Exhale, step back to plank, and you can come right into down dog, or you can take that half vinyasa if you choose, however you choose to do it. Good, now we're in dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up behind you, bend your right knee, open the right hip, and then extend your right leg nice and long. Exhale, step your right foot forward and come right into warrior one. Okay, warrior one on the right. Good. Good. Now, you're going to pivot right into warrior one on the left. Yeah, it's weird. This is how it's done in the primary series. Then you're going to take your palms together and twist outside your left thigh bone. You might have to come onto the tiptoes of your back right foot. You might be able to keep your right foot down. You'll notice you do never want to torque your knee. Got that? Woo. Okay. Then inhale back to center. And now back to warrior one on the right. And you're going to twist outside your right thigh bone. Yeah, so now we're back at the front of our mat. That left inner thigh is really fired up. Inhale back to warrior one on the right. And then you're going to step back into down dog. Or you can take a half vinyasa if that is your pleasure. This is what we do in the primary series. You guys remember that? Okay. Inhale, lift your right leg up behind you. Exhale, step your right foot forward. This time you're going to come towards into warrior 2 feet, but I want you to walk your hands forward. So your hands are past the longer edge of your mat. You're going to press your palms down and away from you and forward as your inner thigh bones reach back. You're going to get a huge stretch in your hips. Good. Take a breath or two here. Then walk your hands back and make your way into warrior 2. Right into warrior 2. Okay. Okay. Take your right forearm to your right thigh and press your forearm down, lifting the right waist up. Good. We're going to do this in pieces. Then make all the way back up, come all the way back up, and take your hands back to the front of the mat, stepping back to down dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up, bend your left knee, open it up, open it up, open it up. Exhale your left leg forward. Come into warrior 2 feet. So your left toes are forward, your right toes aim to the long edge of your mat. Then you're going to walk your hands and your torso towards the right, like you're trying to knead, K-N-E-A-D, knead the mat forward and your inner thigh bones back. It's a huge stretch here. I mean, talk about seeing something from a different angle. Good. Imagine now you're seeing things from the cheap seats, right? Then walk your hands back, make your way right into warrior 2. Exhale your left forearm to your left thigh, lifting the left waist and extend your right arm, stay low. Oh yeah. Take your hands, right your hands back to the earth, and then step your right foot forward beside your left, forward fold. Shake out your bum. Press your feet down and circle your arms all the way up. Bring your palms together to your heart center. Now and get a little bit more length inside of our body. So imagine there's a huge rope in front of you, like in middle school when you had to, I don't know why we had to do that, but we're going to do that here. You're going to reach your left arm up and grab that rope and pull it down, and the right arm up and reach it and pull it down. Take one more on each side, really lengthen and pull it down. This is an inhale and an exhale and an inhale and an exhale. Last one, oh yeah, and an exhale. All right, back to Utkatasana, fierce warrior. Shins forward, bum back. Ooh, what's going on with your hips here? Right? Belly back. Find your way into your twist. It'll be a little bit easier. Good. I go to the right with the left hip back. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to your left and open it up, however you choose. Inhale back to center. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look halfway up. Exhale, either take a half vinyasa or come right to down dog. Doesn't matter. You should be nice and aligned in your upper back. Good. Inhale, lift your right leg up behind you. Exhale, step your right foot forward, prepare for warrior 1, and come all the way up into warrior 1. Lower in your hips. Find that twist, taking your left elbow outside the right thigh. And it's a little bit deeper here, right? Good. Inhale back to warrior 1. And then into warrior two, also on the right. Good. Take your right forearm to your right thigh. We've been here, stay low in your hips. Notice how when I invite you to go lower, you can. Yeah, that's what I'm inviting you to do. Then take your bum back, make your way right into that triangle pose. Right into a triangle. Just play in it just a little bit. Make sure the right waist is lifted. Good. Your hips are slightly back. Now we're going to come into a revolved triangle, and you might want to use your block here. I'm going to grab my block. Take a block just outside the left of your right foot. And you're going to take your left hand to that block. Shorten and widen your stance. I want you to be sure you do that. So your feet are on railroad tracks and shorter. Take your right outer hip back. I want you to take your right thumb into the right hip and press it back. Press it back. And as you press down into your right foot and your left hand, you're going to open up into a pretty deep twist here. Yeah, revolved triangle. Find a few breaths here. See if you can lengthen your legs longish. Maybe be amazed at how deep you can get here. Good. Exhale, release your right hand to the earth. And now we got to change sides. So you're going to step back to plank. And either take a half vinyasa or come right into down dog. You know what to do. Inhale, lift your left leg up behind you. Open up the left hip. Good. Extend your left leg back. And then step your left foot forward, preparing for warrior one. Inhale, circle your arms all the way up. Good. Then you're going to twist right here. Got to look at something that's not moving because there's some balance involved here, right? Yeah, left hip back. Inhale right into warrior two. I want you to just expand, come into your warrior two. Take your left forearm to your left thigh, pressing down to lift the left waist and roll the left waist forward, and then release deeper in your hips. Good. Take a breath. Yes, you can, right? Then take your bum back and make your way into a nice long triangle. The left waist is still lifted. The hips are back behind you just a little bit. Big full breath here. Oh yeah. Left waist is reaching forward. Now you're going to take a block, if you want a block, under your right hand. And you're going to take the block just wide of your foot, your left foot. And you're going to widen your stance and shorten your stance. So make sure your feet are a little closer together and wide. Take your left outer hip back. I want you to actually feel the left outer hip draw back. That's super important. And once you have your footing, you're going to twist your right waist to the left and open it up. Good. Lean back. Really experience this moment with the twist. Imagine you're squeezing out your organs and breathing fresh prana into the cells. And then release your left hand to the floor. Release your block, get rid of that block, and step your right foot forward beside your left. Pressing your feet down. Circle your arms all the way up and bring your palms together to your heart center. And release. Good job, guys. All right. I want to make sure your shoulder blades are nice and drawn back. So this is what I really like to do. Option one, you can take your hands behind your back and interlace your fingers. But my favorite option is to step a wall in front of a wall. If you guys have a wall available, your feet are hip width apart. The tops of your shoulders press to the wall. The back of your head presses to the wall. I want you to roll your bum down the wall, but your outer arm bones roll toward the wall. Soft knees, soften your knees. Take a breath here. Maybe a hint of a smile. Now, keeping that alignment, step away from the wall. Yeah, and notice how tall you're standing. All right, good. So we're going to continue to get into our hips. And it looks like this. You're going to take your right knee up towards your chest. You're going to step your right foot back. You can take your right knee down towards the earth, extend it. And then you're going to step into your left foot, lifting your right knee up and back to center. Yeah, got that? Okay. It's a whole breathing pattern. So if you look at something, you have to look at something that's not moving. Okay. So lift, step back, lower, lift, back to center, and hold. We're going to do that 4 more times. Lift, step back, lower, lift, back up. All right, guys, do it 2 more times while I fix this light. Make sure you're breathing. Okay. All right, and back to center. Good. And move your hips around. Move your hips around. I don't know if that's better. Okay, now we're going to do it on the left. Shoulder blades down your back. It's a nice big open heart. Lift your left knee. Step back. Lower your knee. Come back. Back up to center. You're going to feel it in your right bum. But look what it does for your hip flexors. And back. Lift, step back, lift, together. Lift, step back and lower, lift. So it's good for your balance. You should feel it in your bum. I don't know what's going on with these lights. All right, take 2 more. Good, that'll work. All right, we're going to take 1 more for me. Lift, step back, lower, good. Knee and back. All right, now that you're standing nice and tall, inhale, circle your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look halfway up. Inner thigh bones back, heart forward. Exhale, you can take a half vinyasa, or you can meet us all in dog. You know what to do. You decide. And right into down dog. All right, now, I want you to soften your knees, take your hips back, and you're going to cross your right ankle over your left thigh, opening up the right hip. You see the pattern here, hips? And maybe you can bend your left knee a little bit more. Take your hips back a little more. Keep your right thigh bone reaching back. And find a few breaths here with your shoulder blades hugged together. Good. And back to down dog. Yeah, walk that out. And let's try the other side. Bend your knees. Cross your left ankle. Take your bum back. Oh yeah. Just a nice open left hip. You can always stay here when we're doing pigeon too. This is a great alternative variation for pigeon. And back to down dog. Oh yeah. And then lower your knees to the mat. Come on to your left hip or your right as you come to seated. Yay. Okay, don't get excited. Okay, first thing we're going to do is to walk our hips. It's called a hip walk. So you can take your palms together in front of you, and you're just going to walk your right and left hip forward until you're walking just a little bit forward. Oh yeah, nice juicy hips. And then you're going to walk it back. Yeah, we've done this before. I was gonna say, how long has it been since you've done this? But, all right, one more time forward, because we have a lot more to do. And then one more time back, walk it. Oh yeah, look at the movement in your hips, guys. Notice how much rotation you have there. Yay! All right, so find a nice space. Draw your right hand towards your chest. Okay, so we're going to play with that just a little bit. You can take your right knee towards your chest. You can even take your right hand outside your right foot and take your right shin towards your chest. If you like, just see if you can open your hip a little bit like this. If you want, you can step into the crook of your left arm and hold your shin like a baby. But this might be, especially if you've had a hip replacement, this might be more than what feels right. This is not your yoga, right? But just notice how you can, where you are. Good. Take a breath. Now you're going to step your right foot high up into your left thigh. Keep your left thigh bone and your right thigh bone grounded. And you know what to do. If your right shin is higher than your right hip, you take a block under your right shin. You guys know to do that. Inhale, circle your arms up, aiming your heart towards your left knee, and then tip forward from the top of the pelvis so that you get right into the hip flexors. Now, if you want, you can grab the outer edge of your left foot with your right hand. And you can imagine you're pressing the ball of your foot forward. You get a nice more stretch in the back of your left leg. Notice my English, nice more. And a nice stretch in your right shoulder. Good. And just take a few breaths here. It's when I close my eyes and I can imagine stepping back. Good. Press your thigh bones down and come all the way back up. And release. Ah, notice. All right, now we're going to do it on the left side, and that's going to be different, right? Yeah. So take your left knee in towards your chest. Roll your left ankle. Maybe you'll grab the outer edge of your left foot with your left hand and take your left knee back just a little bit more. You can, every step of the way is the pose. You know this, right? Now, if you want to go a little deeper, you can step your sole of your foot into the crook of your right arm, and maybe you'll hold your shin pretty close to your chest or far from your chest, like you're rocking the baby with a nice, sweet breath. Oh, so good. Yeah, and this is a good party trick too. Okay, guys, I think I'm fine. Okay, now you're going to step your left foot high up into your right thigh. Okay. And you know what to do with the groundedness. Inhale, so you root down to rise up. And then you tip forward right into the right hip. And then if you want, you can grab the outer edge of your right foot with your left hand and just reach the ball of the right foot forward to get a little bit more stretch in the back of your right leg and in your left shoulder. Yeah. Good. Press your thigh bones down and come all the way up. Yeah. And let's just kind of shake that out. Let's just do one Baddha Konasana before we continue on our back. So you're going to take the soles of your feet together. This is the ultimate hip opener pose, I think. Take the pinky side edges of your feet into the earth and imagine they're stuck and you're pulling them back because you'll feel everything waking up right into the hip socket. You'll feel a little contraction in your hip. That's what I want you to hold on to that. And then with your breath engaged, lengthen your thigh bones long and they'll come a little closer to the earth. There's no goal here. There's only questions in life. There's no truth, absolute truths or answers. We just keep moving on, right? We just keep moving forward based on where we've been. So keep that engagement, and maybe you'll tip the top of your pelvis forward a little bit, maybe a lot, I don't know. Good. Press your thigh bones down to come all the way up. And take your hands around your shins, give yourself a hug. Good. Now you're going to take your right foot, identify your right foot, lift it up, right foot, I want to see right feet. And you're going to thread your right foot under your left shin and sit up tall. Now you can keep your left foot where it's at, or you can step your left foot outside your right thigh. Now, if you can't keep both sit bones grounded, stay where you were. Sit up tall, okay? So you're going to hug your shin to sit up tall, and now you're going to twist to your left. I like to take my left hand and massage my belly to the left and just open everything up. Just find you're open. Oh, yeah. Now here, if you want to look over your right shoulder and then tip your right chin down toward your shoulder, your chin towards your right shoulder, you'll get a little stretch in the left shoulder. And breathe here. Yeah. Wonderful twist. And then inhale back to center. Take your feet back to the earth. Give yourself a hug, maybe a hint of a smile. We are here to live our best life, to be who we are, and find joy, right? So you're going to take your left foot, and thread it under your right, taking the left shin towards the earth, and then find what feels right for you. If your right bum is off the earth and you're leaning to the left, keep your foot where it's at, or play with it. Maybe you can still take your right hip towards the earth. Lift up tall, take your right hand to massage your belly out to the right, and maybe you'll take your left elbow outside the right thigh. You find your way. First, look over your right shoulder. That's where you want to start. That's how it gets a deep twist. Then you're going to look to your left and dip your chin down towards your shoulder. And you'll see you get a stretch in the right shoulder. Close your eyes. Enjoy the space. And back to center. Good. Now we're going to come into both poses. So the top of the pelvis tips back. You can keep your hands behind you. You can take your hands to the inside of your thighs by wrapping your hands around your outer arm, your outer legs to your inner thighs, or you can keep your arms in front of you and just see where you get. This is the first core that we're going to do here, official core, and just maybe find a little row in your boat. You can always keep your knees bent. You can always cross your ankles and pull the ankles apart. It's also so awesome. But just take about 4 more breaths here. Slow breaths. Good. And come all the way back up. Yeah. Now you're going to take your hands behind your back, shoulder blades down your back, lift your hips up, a reverse table. Just get everything all in line here. Good. Now you can lower your hips to cross your right ankle over your left thigh, or you can keep your hips lifted and cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Okay? Because we're all going to end up rolling our inner thighs towards the earth so that our sit bones come to the earth. So my right ankle is over my left thigh. Now, if you want to stay here, you can even take your left foot further away from you if you need more space. If you want to go deeper, you slide your left foot closer to you and you stay right there. Or you can slide your sit bones towards your heel. That's a nice option too. Your hips are really open, guys. Okay, so from here, we got a few options. You can extend your left leg straight. We're coming into fire log pose. And you're going to come up like this with your left leg straight. Option 2 is to walk your left foot to the right and then come to seated so that you're in fire log pose and your shins are stacked in front of you. Your top right ankle is kind of hanging over the left thigh. Fire log. Yeah. Circle your arms up wherever you're at and just kind of tip forward, taking your fingertips to the earth. Close your eyes. And get deep into those recesses, the deep recesses of your hips. Good. One more breath. Press the thigh bones down to come all the way up. And take your feet back to the earth. Okay. Now, lift your heart up, lift your hips. So you can either have your hips lifted to cross your left ankle over your right thigh, or you can do it with your bum down. Everyone's hips are different, and the left hip is different than the right. Okay? So I just want you to see what it feels like with it lifted. And then slowly lower. You can stay right here. You can slide your right foot towards your hip, or you can slide your bum towards your heel, or you can take your right foot further away if that feels best for your hip. Remember, we are here for joy, for exploration. We're not here for pain or suffering. No. Okay, now remember your options. You can extend your right leg straight, or you can walk your right foot to the left and come to seated so that now your left shin is parallel and on top of your right. And notice if your left foot is hanging off your right thigh. Yeah, so you might want to narrow your knees. And let's try this on the side. Pressing the thigh bones down, lift your heart, and just see if you can get a nice little stretch here. This is pretty deep stuff. Even if your bottom right leg is straight, this is really deep stuff. So close your eyes and notice if anything emotional comes up. Pressing your thigh bones down, come all the way back up and shake it out. Oh my God, you guys did great. All right, come to lying on your back. Just want to do a few more things for our core. So I'm going to come to lying on your back. We've never done this before, but I just love this. There's a few of these that I really love. So you're going to lift your knees so that your shins are in a tabletop. And your arms are going to reach up to the ceiling, but notice how if you take your shoulder blade away from the earth, the scapula comes away from the spine. I want the shoulder blades, the tops of the shoulders down to the earth, grounded, and your scapula hugging the spine. Your shoulders are melted down your earth, down your back, not up towards your ears. Okay, got all that? But now you're going to extend your right leg forward and your left arm back, and you're going to come back to where we started. And you're going to exhale now the left leg forward and your right arm back and come back to where we started. And you're going to continue just like this. So if you go somewhere else, you're not going to get the rhythm and somebody's going to be messed up. So really stay present. Inhale back to center. Exhale, opposite arm and leg. And you see how this can stimulate the neural pathways in your brain, not to mention what this does for your core. Keep the top of your pelvis back. I don't want any torquing in your low back. Okay, we're just going to do 8 more of these. Ready? 8,
7. Maybe count yourself. 6. 5. 4. 5. Okay, guys, last set. And draw your knees to your chest. Good. Take some hip circles here, rolling your knees away from each other. Take some big inhales through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Let's make our way into a happy baby. So your arms are inside your knees. You grab the outer edges of your feet and you just roll right and left. Roll right and left. Yeah. Come back through center, arms to T. Simply drop your knees to the right, gaze to the left. Close your eyes and see if you can keep your eyes closed now for the practice. And see in your mind's eye stage. And you're all the way up in the balcony, the back of the balcony, looking, stepping away from the situation that you're in and seeing a bigger picture. And with your eyes closed, see if you can twist the other way. Yeah, just take your legs the other way. Rolling your rib cage to the right. Make sure your teeth are not occluded. You don't want your teeth together. Make your way back to center. Take your arms beside you, walking your shoulder blades together. Lift your bum, just kind of shake your bum right and left. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Right into Shavasana. And allow yourself 2 minutes to rest. Allow yourself to remember that we are here to live our best life. It's a privilege. It's by sheer grace that we're here. We didn't deserve it. We didn't earn it. And we can't pay it back. Take rest.
Start rolling your wrists and your ankles. Inhale, extend your arms up over your head. Exhale through your mouth. Draw your knees to your chest and roll to your right side. Make your way to a seat on your mat. Bring your palms together to your heart center. We have each come into this life as we are by sheer grace. And we're here to live our best life. And we do that by taking the points, the pins out of the cactus. The light in me honors that light in you. Namaste. Mwah. Love you guys. Let me stop the recording.